USDA Rural Development on. Before we get into them, I'm going to quick go into a brief description about BattleGround and Breaking Ground and the grant that helps fund us to be able to do webinars like this and just bring different agencies on with different resources to uh, farmers and ranchers and people in rural life and veterans and all those sorts of people. So um, uh, we are BattleGround and Breaking Ground, and through the expanding agriculture opportunities for veteran farmers and ranchers um, grant, we're able to do stuff like this. Some of the goals are to enhance coordination of outreach, technical assistance, education, and training efforts for USDA agriculture programs, and assist the Secretary of Agriculture in reaching military veteran farmers and ranchers and improve their participation in USDA programs. Some activities through this are to expand the current BattleGround and Breaking Ground online curriculum by adding enhanced agriculture business and agriculture production training courses, as well as develop hands-on learning events that include training in funding and technical resources, farm business management, financial planning, agriculture production, including climate smart practices, local and regional food systems, and raise awareness of outreach and technical assistance services available for military, veteran farmers and ranchers. So our webinar series, we've had on Texas Veteran Commission, Beef Loving Texas. Now we're at USDA Rural Development. Coming up, we have AgSpire, Texas Agriculture Cooperative Council, and Capital Farm Credit. So keep a lookout for those, and would love to have you join us. Our hands-on learning events, we have a couple coming up that I'll list dates here soon. But our hands-on learnings help give participants the opportunity to see live demonstrations and practice skills learned in our online courses. And the idea is so that participants will be able to complete an online course and then attend our hands-on learnings to gain real-world knowledge, experience, and skills to enhance their abilities to successfully manage their ag operations. For our hands-on learnings, if you are in the military or you're a veteran, we do offer a $362 stipend for the first 10 military veteran participants. So upcoming in-person events, we have the sheep hands-on learning, which will be April 20 and 21. That will be here in College Station at the Sheep and Goat Center and the Beef Center. The beef cattle one-on-one hands-on learning will be May 18, 19, and our natural resource management and pasture rangeland management hands-on learning will be June 24 through 26, also here in College Station. So keep a lookout for those if you want to participate. We have it on our Facebook channel or website on the events page. You can apply to or subscribe to our newsletter. Again, our Facebook, and or just email us at texasagribility at gmail or at ag.tamu.edu and reach out and we'll get back to you. Towards the end, Heidi, if you don't mind throwing that in the chat, that would be great. Through this grant, we would try and gather as much information as we can, and that helps us continue to do grants like this. I'll push things over to James and his crew over at USDA Rural Development, and I will stop sharing my screen and let you share yours. So, James, if you don't mind introducing yourself and your team, and I'll let you take it away.
Absolutely, BJ. Thank you so very much. Let me first see if I can get share my screen. I have a few slides. Let's see here. Yeah, here we go. Okay, sorry about that. Let me get. Okay, so how does that look? Can everyone see that? Does it look good, BJ?
I just put it in
Oh, there
presentation
we go.
mode. Yep, there we
Okay,
go.
so this
Awesome.
looks good. Great. Well, thank you again, BJ. It's absolute honor and privilege to join you today. We appreciate the invitation. Looking forward to speaking with you. It seems like y'all are doing great work, and we just really appreciate you giving us an opportunity to speak with you. I hope each and every one of the attendees finds this presentation beneficial and a good use of your time. So I'm just going to jump into it. I've got several of my team here who are going to get into the particulars of what we do. But first, I would just like to introduce myself, give you a brief overview of what USDA Rural Development is and some of the things we do. And so, really, in short summary, the shortest summary I could give of USDA rural development is it's essentially a bank or a lender of last resort. And it is one of many, many mission areas and offices within USDA. And I feel like it's one that's a little bit less known and folks don't know about unless you've actually dealt with us. I feel like folks usually know what the Farm Service Agency is, and I think you've maybe already had one of these with them. But so yes, we are a bank, essentially, but the banking arm of USDA. And I'll go more into it, but first, just a little bit about me. As BJ said, I am James Redfield. I am the current Texas State Director for USDA Rural Development in Texas. The way RD is kind of split up is there you have each state has a state office and a state staff. And so I am essentially the one the am a political appointee. I do serve at the pleasure of the president and the vice president and the secretary of agriculture, is obviously Brooke Rollins. I was appointed last September and I've been in this role for about 7 months as the state director. It's kind of really the CEO for the state as it concerns USDA rural development. I oversee most of the operations and the programs we run on the state level. But I'm an East Texan, raised in Nacogdoches, Texas. Maybe I don't know if we have any East Texans on here, but I'm an East Texan. I got my degree from Texas A&M in 2010 in agribusiness, agriculture economics. And then after that, I accepted an internship in DC in Congress and went for 4 months, was intended to be there for 4 months and stayed 9 years. I worked in Congress for about 7 years for two former Texas House members, where I focused on banking, financial services policy, and agriculture policy. Then I had an opportunity to go join the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development. And I did that working under the leadership of Secretary Ben Carson, spent 2 years there. And then in 2021, decided it was a good time to head back south and moved to Austin and got into state government and worked for the Texas Department of Agriculture, handling their government relations, external affairs, managing relationships at the Capitol, and went through the last legislative session with them. And then I was approached for this position, and I didn't seek it out, and I graciously accepted it. And so now I'm here in this role. And so I really just want to give you a brief history of the department. I'm going to try to get through this pretty quickly. But as you can see, our origins go back to FDR and the New Deal and the Great Depression. And over time, things have changed, have been consolidated, and really this federal crop insurance reform and Department of Ag reorg that happened in the mid 90s is really what created the current structure and mission area of RD. Rural development is Title VI of the Farm Bill. And I'm happy to report as far as funding goes, when we came out of the shutdown, we were one of the few agencies that did receive full funding for the fiscal year in November. We're happy about that. So we've been kind of blowing and going. But really, just the mission of RD is really that first top sentence there. We are committed to helping improve the economy and quality of life of rural America. And that's really, really what we're focused on. And you can see here, so we do direct loans, loan guarantees, grants. I'm sure you know what those things mean. A direct loan, we directly do the loan. The money comes from us. We do the underwriting, the servicing. Grants are grants. Loan guarantees, we do not do the underwriting or the servicing. A private lender comes in, does that for an individual or an entity, and we can come in and put a guarantee on that loan as a backstop and entices the banks to kind of maybe more so do those loans. And so, and then the guarantee depends on the program, 80 to 90%. This depends. So we're really in the business of promoting economic development in rural areas. We do have a lot of TA opportunities as well, and we're really focused on, as I said, economic development in rural areas. What does a rural area mean? Well, it depends on the program. So typically, if you're a community under 10,000 or so, you're probably going to qualify for most of our programs. So we have some that go up to 50, some that the population threshold is 20 or 35. It just depends on the program. And so really that's just a quick overview of what we do. Um, just here I have our priorities. This is kind of a quote from the secretary. She and the president are really focused on rural communities. She and the president feel they've been left behind and forgotten. We're trying to change that. I've already kind of gone over my role as the state director, kind of the CEO of the operations here in Texas. But I wanted to show you a map of all of my offices. We're broken up into areas. I have 24 offices throughout the state. I have 59 employees, I want to say, at this point in time, currently. And you can see here in the yellow portion, Bell County, that's where the main office is, the state office, Temple, Texas. That's where I am doing this from today. And so really this is kind of the last slide for me. Well, I'll do one more on our funding outlook. But the rural development arm of USDA is really broken up into three services. We have our rural business cooperative service, our rural housing service, and our rural utility service. And I have three of my program directors that will kind of hit on all of these services, some of the programs in these services, not all. We don't have the time. This is the really three core functions of RD and kind of what we get involved in. You can see housing, utility, think broadband, water, electric. You can just kind of see here the
Just
numbers. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it. But that's really it for me. I'm now going to turn it over. I have three of my program directors. I have Michael Self, who is our business programs director. I have Michael Canales, who is our community programs director. And then I have John Powell, who is our acting single family housing program director. So I'm going to let them get into it, get into some of the in the weeds here of the programs. And so I'm going to stop sharing. I just want to say thank you again for the invitation, and I'll come back in on the back end. But just before I hand it over to Michael Canales, just some idea of how much money we've invested into the state of Texas. From FY20 until now, we've invested over $9 million in projects. That's about 26,000 projects we got going on. So a lot of money flowing out of us into the state of Texas, into the rural areas. And I wish we had more money. There's a lot more need than the money we have, but we try to do the best we can with what Congress gives us. And so thank you again. I'm going to hand it over to Michael Canales to jump in and give a few remarks. So let me try to exit out of here. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Let's see here if I can figure that out. Stop sharing. Okay, I've stopped sharing. I'm going to mute myself and let Michael Canales take over. Michael, it's all yours.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Michael Canales. I am the Community Programs Director for USDA Rural Development. I am going to pop in a couple of slides, or if I can figure out how to share my screen real quick. Share screen. Size. Okay, okay, okay. Mhm. All right, hold on here. Let's see. Share screen. All right, tell me what y'all see.
see a black screen.
Dang it.
There we go. There now I see the presentation.
Is
Things
there
just need to
now?
be in. Just put it in presentation mode.
All right. So again, appreciate y'all taking the opportunity to log in and listen to us today, and we appreciate the opportunity to provide you with some information. A lot of the stuff that I'm going to provide you with you today deals with our water environmental programs and our essential community facilities. A lot of these programs are not necessarily geared to the individual, the ag producer, or the single individual looking for funding from the federal government. Um, my programs primarily that we deal with here are community-based. Most of them are for public bodies, nonprofit organizations, and the vast majority of them also qualify for Indian tribes, or the eligible applicants would be Indian tribes. So what I'm going to do is briefly touch base on our main programs here. Some of y'all may be some beneficiaries of some of these programs by way of where you get your water, the courthouse or the city hall or the fire station that serves your particular area may have come from or may have been funded by one of the agency's programs. So what I'm going to do first is talk about our water environmental briefly. Our main programs that we have there, and you can see off the screen, is the Water and Waste Disposal Loan and Grant Program. As James mentioned, there's different eligibility requirements as far as the population goes. Most of the programs for water and CF community facilities are at least 10,000 in population is the max, or in some cases up to 20. As you can see there, our water waste disposal loan and grant program is made to public bodies, nonprofits, or tribes. What basically we can do with that program is provide funding for water systems, wastewater systems, stormwater drainage stations, your wastewater, your stormwater, and your trash that we can fund. Projects in rural areas of less than 10,000 in population. And primarily it's a 40-year loan at a low interest rate. And if they're available, we can offer some grants based on the financial need of the organization primarily the availability of grant funding. You may hear this, grants are few and far between and are on a smaller scale. It's very difficult to get some funding in some particular programs when it comes to the request for grant. But if we have them, we utilize them to the best of our ability. So that's our direct program. And again, typically we've got cities or towns that are municipal governments providing utility service or nonprofit entities such as water supply corporations, sewer system, wastewater treatment corporations, just things like that. Occasionally we'll have municipal utility districts or freshwater supply districts and things like that as far as applicants, but you may be part of one of those systems that we may have funded. So again, just giving you some brief information on what we can do on the other side. The other thing we deal with, as James mentioned earlier, is our guaranteed loans. That's a lender-driven loan where the application is submitted to an approved lender or a lender or even a non-approved lender, but a lender that is FDIC regulated. You go to that bank or the entity goes to that bank, requests funding for one of those particular types of services that we offer, and then the bank makes the loan and we guarantee it up to 80% depending on the type of the project, and that 80% it covers any loss to the bank that they may see in servicing the loan that they make out to the entity. Couple of the smaller programs that we have there is our water waste facility loan and grant program to alleviate health risks. Those primarily are one of the only 100% grant programs that the agency offers with regards to the water environmental program. Those been in existence prior to October 1st of 1989 and are 150 miles north of or along the Texas-Mexico border on the Texas side, 150 miles north. If there were existing colonias prior to 1989, they may be eligible for funding under that one grant program. The next one you see there is more of a housing deal. Water environmental programs provides some funding to housing for individual grants. I don't know that John will be talking about some of those. But again, those are limited to eligible colonias that are within 150 miles of the Texas-Mexico border. A couple other programs that I'll talk about here shortly is our emergency community water assistance grants. Entities can apply for funding to prevent or to remediate a decline in the water quality or quantity that is being provided to its customers. We have to have some event that has caused the shortage of water or if the water's funding, depending on what the nature of the emergency has been. And that's a real simple process to get one of those grants. Again, the entity is going to be requesting funding for those to alleviate an emergency situation. couple of the programs there, just briefly talk about them. Those are pre-development programs. Organizations, nonprofits, or municipal governments can apply to those for some pre-development planning costs. We're able to provide funding for like a preliminary engineering report, environmental report, or any type of feasibility studies necessary to work towards a full application for funding on a particular type of project. Basically, these are the ones that tell what the entity is going to need, what it's going to cost, and then they'll come to us for the funding for that particular project. Moving on to let me get out of this one and talk about community facilities. Let's see here. And can you see that screen there talking about community facilities?
Yes, we can.
All right. So the other thing that may encompass or maybe a part of your day-to-day living is our community facilities programs. Uh, those programs are designed to aid communities and nonprofit organizations to basically build a city from the ground up, or provide places for public health, public service, public safety, educational type facilities, and cultural type facilities as well. The population limit for that is 20,000, and those public bodies and nonprofits can apply for the construction of, for instance, a courthouse, city hall, fire station, police department, school buildings, buses, fire stations, fire trucks, ambulances, all those different types of aspects can be funded with the Community Facilities Direct Loan and Grant Program. Again, it's a loan program primarily. Grants are few and far between, and when they are available, they are in smaller amounts, ranging from 15, 35, 55, or 75% of the total project cost. And again, those are based on population and MHI of where the facility is going to be located and the service area. Similar to what the direct program offers as well, we have a guarantee program. Again, that goes up to 50,000 in population. Municipal governments or nonprofit organizations apply through a lender to obtain financing for one of those five different things I talked about: public health, public service, public safety, education, and community service type deals. We will guarantee that loan that the bank makes to those entities in the event of a loss. Other programs that are available to communities and nonprofits are RCDI, Rural Community Development Initiative Grant. That is primarily a program where nonprofits apply for funding to assist a community basically when in developing capacity within their own community, if that makes sense. So we'll provide funding to an organization that will provide training or will provide some type of guidance, assistance to other agencies or individuals that will increase the capacity within the community to better aid that community to compete with other communities in the area by way of developing them, getting them more up to speed, modernizing their facilities. These are just training programs. Those programs can be established, and if there's a need to fund the construction of a facility, or if the strategic plan basically says that they need to start a fire station, but they don't know how to do that, then we can go through the funding aspect of it through the direct loan or grant program and aid the community there. As James mentioned, we also have other TA type programs. Primarily, those are for nonprofit organizations. They provide guidance to communities on how, again, develop plans, strategic planning, also developing methods to obtain additional financing for different programs that the community may need. So it's basically these two programs are again basically community centric, not necessarily for the individual. You're looking again at cities and towns of less than 10 or 20 in population, depending on the program. Nonprofit organizations, funding primarily is through a loan. And if you see most of the water towers that are out in the rural community, those have most likely been funded through rural development, or one of the agencies that was prior to rural development that we morphed into. A lot of these rural VFDs, volunteer fire departments, and things that you see out in the communities, out in the rural areas, those have probably been funded through rural development as well. And so, just giving you some information as to how my part again, water environmental programs and community facilities could be a part of your community and a resource just to give you some information that you may be able to share with your own community in the event that they may need additional services from the federal government. So again, that's the short and sweet end of my presentation. I am going to unshare and move it over to the next presenter.
Thank you, Michael. Let's go to John Powell.
All right. Let me see if I can get this working. My name is John Powell. I am the acting housing program director for Texas. Okay. I consider rural development to be a unique organization. We do a lot of things, but when we boil it down, it's to improve the quality of life for those living and working in rural America and to enhance economic opportunities. And as James already mentioned, we do this by our vast network of offices and our employees throughout the state. Um, I'm going to talk about three of our core programs in single family housing. And whether or not these apply to you, you may know somebody who could benefit from these programs. So we also want to just put this out as awareness that these are things that we offer. Most people know somebody who could probably benefit from our home repair program. We call it a Section 504, but when I say Section 504, what we really mean is our home repair program. Um, this one requires a couple of things. You have to be the owner and occupant of the home. This is not for rental property. This is not a fixer-upper program. This is to help somebody who's living in a rural community and is very low income, unable to afford, unable to go through conventional methods to get critical home repair done. Um, there's an income limit on there, and we'll talk about that as well. So, as an example, I'm in Taylor County. Taylor County income limit for very low would be around 43,650 is our income limit. So if you're below that, then you qualify. So typically what we see is folks on Social Security or disability, fixed income are the ones we're trying to help in this program. We have a grant available up to $10,000. I'll cover that on the next slide. But the bulk of the program is to help those who live in rural communities who need home repair. So a couple of things on that. Our loans can repair, improve, or modernize home, but our grant is only for health and safety issues. And health and safety could be things like disability, accessibility ramp. Uh, some of our older homes, we have found the doorways aren't as wide as they need to be to allow someone to safely travel through, especially to the bathroom, that sort of thing. Those are types of things we can do. We've done a lot of bathroom renovations where we'll convert a tub to a walk-in shower to allow for someone who's disabled to be able to better access their bathroom facility. Loans are up to $40,000. It is a 20-year term loan at 1% interest rate. We have also availability of grant. You have to be 62 or older to qualify for grant. $10,000 max grant. Once you reach that 10,000 limit, we cannot grant any additional funding in that. So a lot of times what we deal with is folks who may need more than 10,000. So how do we deal with that? Well, we do not take a lien on a loan that's less than $7,500, so $7,499. What we try to do is talk them through what that is going to cost. So a loan of around $7,500 is only about $35 a month, or a little less than $35 a month. We don't take a lien on the home. We can combine loan and grant. So depends on the situation and what they're trying to do, but but this is a very affordable program for those who need those critical repairs. And like I said, we do a lot of roof repair. We do a lot of bathroom renovation, uh, stuff to fix electrical or plumbing. In some cases, we can do heating and electrical or HVAC, air condition, heating, ventilation. Just depends on what the need is, and we can couple and partner with other agencies that do similar work. This is a very dramatic before and after. Not all of our projects are this way, but this one, as you can see, they took and were able to renovate the siding, put new door, new patio, new windows in this home, and really protect it, preserve it for future. So with that, I'm going to go into, excuse me, just a second. Our guaranteed loan program. It's a guaranteed loan, as James mentioned, is one that we deal with where the bank is the lender and we're guaranteeing the loan. On the single family guaranteed loans, it's a 90% guarantee for low and moderate income households. So moderate income would be the loan, the maximum income limit that we can go for if you know somebody that's under, or if you're under $119,000 on average, they're going to qualify for this program. It's 100% financing, no down payment. I'll go over some advantages, but this is this is one of our programs that we use to help people get into a home. There is a 1% guarantee fee, so that's paid as part of the loan process. There's no mortgage insurance. Um, and like I said, 119,000 per year for Taylor County, uh, for a 1 to 4 person household. If you have more than 4 people in a house, our income limits go up slightly to adjust for that. There's no maximum purchase price limits in the guarantee program. This is a 30-year fixed rate. Interest rate is between the applicant and the lender. We have over 1,000 active lenders across the state to choose from nationwide. If you want to take advantage of this program, you can call any of our offices and we can guide you to eligible lenders. If your local bank of choice wants to go through the program, that's perfectly fine as well. Just let us know. We'll guide them through that, what that looks like. Um, So the lender gives approval, they contact Rural Development, we issue what's called a loan guarantee, and that's to protect the lender's interest. We have very good response times on these, and they've made some recent changes in the program. We may see even faster turn times than the 2 to 3 business days. But this program typically closes on schedule. We don't have a whole lot of problem with uh, delays because this is more commercial driven as opposed to our direct lending program. So the next one I have on my list is our single family housing direct loan program. We assist low and very low applicants uh, in purchasing decent, safe, and sanitary housing in rural areas. So this is a whereas the guarantee program there's more lender driven, this is the government making a loan to the individual. It's a little bit different setup and how we offer our of our 59 employees throughout the state of Texas. We have a good number of them that work strictly on housing, and that's their primary focus and function is to process these um, housing applications. So our advantages of the program, there's no origination fee, there's no private mortgage insurance costs. We accept low and very low income households. So just as an example, and each county varies, but Taylor County, the if you're under 69,000 a year, you would qualify for this program. The maximum purchase price in Taylor County is 324,700. That's pretty much the average across the state based on the new guidance that has come out in the last month. There are a few counties that have higher loan limits, but or area loan limits is what they call them. But for the most part, our average max purchase price in this program is 324,700. This loan has a little bit different term. It is a fixed interest rate. Our interest rates are right now are 5.125% fixed for 33 years. We have the ability, if you're very low income, we can stretch that out to 38-year fixed interest rate. This just depends on the situation. It's just another tool we have in our toolkit to use to help somebody get into a home. We also have payment assistance for those that qualify if you're very low income. Again, so just to give you an example, 43,000 or less annually, then you would qualify for payment assistance. We can get payment assistance can reduce that interest rate down to 1% in some cases to help make that home loan affordable. So to apply, we go directly through the USDA field office, and then they're also closed by our field office staff. This is our income limit chart. Just these are a few counties around the area that I cover out in West Texas. But to give you an idea, each county is a little bit different, so we'll need to go through these on a case by case basis. But just to give you an idea, so the first column, the 502, 504, that's our very low income category. So for Taylor, 43,650. To qualify for the 504 program, you would need to be under that number based on whatever the income limit is in that county. For the 502, family of one to four person household, 69,850, and below qualify for the 502 direct program. And then if you're above that, but below the 119,850, then you could go through the guarantee program. And that's how we break it out. We ask that if you're interested, just give us one of our offices a call. We'll walk you through what those eligibility looks like. And as for what we can do in the program, we can purchase existing homes in good repair. This is not a fixer-upper program. If you find a house that needs $100,000 in repair, this is not the program to go for. We want homes that are in good repair. We can do new construction and new build. We've also done new and existing manufactured dwellings. If you go with a manufactured home, the term is set at 30 years instead of 33, and there's no exception for that. The other caveat on existing manufactured is it has to be less than 20 years old and has to meet certain requirements, but assuming that it fits the program, we're more than happy to do existing manufactured as well. Couple of things in our eligibility website. Has a lot of information. It has our income limits, our property eligibility. If you have a question about whether a property is eligible based on where it's located, the eligibility website can clear that up. You can just type in the address and it will give you a determination and show you exactly where it is. And with that, I believe that was my presentation.
Thank you, John. I appreciate that. Let's move on to Michael Self with our business programs. And Michael, I apologize. I took a little more time than I expected, but I want to leave some time for questions. So if you can do the best you can, use 12:45 as a marker so we can get some questions in. But I'm going to turn it over to Michael Self. Thank you.
Not sharing the right one, apparently. Can y'all see my screen by chance?
Yes, sir, we can. Should we just put it on the
Thank you, sir.
slideshow?
Yes, sir. So Hopefully y'all can see my screen. I don't know if y'all can or not. I can't see it now.
Yes, I can see it.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir. So in RBCS, Rural Business and Cooperative Service, there's actually more than 20 programs. And in rural development, I got here today, I went and looked at those programs, and we found about 4 programs that was more in line with farmers and ranchers, and specifically beginning farmers and ranchers, and ideally military and military veterans farmers and ranchers. And one of those, which is called the Value Added Producer Grant Program, it's going to move. Is it not moving? It is not moving on my screen.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's moving.
Maybe just
Look-
use it on do it. Can you do it on your keyboard? Just hit down.
I think it's because of it's locked up now. Actually, I could probably just give it the Value Added Producer Grant Program. It's locking up on my end, so let me see. Okay, let me try this once more. Okay. I may just do it this way and then remove this here to where it's better that way. Okay. So y'all not seeing it? I can't see it.
Yes,
Yeah,
I can see it. We can see
All
it.
right, sir. Okay, so the Value Added Producer Grant Program is one of those programs that is more in line with beginning farmers and ranchers. It is designed to provide economic planning activities and eligible working capital for for-profit agricultural producers to develop businesses and that produce and market value-added products. Okay. One, unfortunately, this program is not a job training program. It is not here to teach how to farm. However, a beginning farmer and rancher within the agency's definition is a farmer and rancher that has been farming at least or no more than 10 years. So if a farmer and rancher has been operational for a couple of years, they already have experience in farming, and whether or not they grew up farming or not, those couple of years provides experience to those individuals. It is not to provide technical assistance. It does not provide research and development. It is not a loan program, and is not intended to provide a continuous stream of capital. Now, for this fiscal year, there is roughly $25 million available nationwide, okay? And there's a maximum of $200,000 for working capital and maximum of $50,000 for planning grants. The open period for the Value Added Producer Grant Program is open now, and it is open for till April 22nd at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, because this is a grant, and because under 2 CFR Part 25, grantees under the USDA Rural Development have to go and register with SAM. Now, let me emphasize this. SAM registration does not cost anything. If you get an inquiry or if you inquire with somebody and they say, okay, I'll register you with SAM for blank dollars, do not do that, because SAM does not cost anything to anyone to register. It is free to the public. Of course, you got to have the legal authority to carry out the purpose of the grant and the business in good standing within the state in which it's incorporated. Now, the application for this, the applicant type is an agricultural producer, which would encompass the 90, I'd say a good majority of the individuals that are on this call. It can also encompass an agricultural producer group, a farmer and rancher co-op, or a majority controlled producer-based business. Now, we all have to be mindful is that all applicant types must be agricultural producers. An individual entity or farm family that produces an agricultural commodity through participation in the day-to-day labor management and field operations. All 4 applicant types must produce or own more than 50% of the agricultural commodity that they use for the Value-Added Producer Grant Program. They could also have a contract production, but that is fairly limited. Now, what if there's two types, there's a planning grant and a working capital grant. Some examples of a working capital grant is to purchase a financial accounting system, pay salaries, pay for additional agricultural commodity inventory, pay for marketing campaign through the value-added producer grant program. Now, this program is not paper anymore. The agency is trying to get away from paper applications, and this program within Rural Development, the RBCS, has a portal to which everybody can go and get and gain access to. You do have to register in this portal. And so that is my point of contact there, Mr. Michael Self, and our primary lead is Mr. Chad Herring. Now, I do want to share, hopefully you'll be able to see our website. I don't know if you can see it momentarily. If y'all can tell me, please say.
Yes, we can see it.
Right. So this is the USDA Rural Development website. This is where all the information that was conveyed by Mr. John Powell, Mr. Michael Canales, and State Director Renfield has provided to you. Now, the Value-Added Producer Grant Program has its own webpage as well. It actually details the VAPG portal, for which it goes to here. And so that, where individuals can apply, you have to sign in, of course. It does provide the NOFO, which is very detailed about it, who, what, when, and where, what you need to do. Now, the Value-Added Producer Grant Program is not the only one that is designed for beginning farmers and ranchers. There, of course, is, or farmers and ranchers in general, excuse me, sir. It is the Rural Energy for America program, which is also available. And currently right now, there's some, delay into the program, but we anticipate the program to be open soon. And it can be used for grants, as the name implies, for renewable energy and or energy efficiency. So if a farmer or rancher has a water pump for that they fill with water and they have a well or something to that effect, and currently their pump goes out, and then they want to make it to where it is solar powered, that is an energy efficiency type matter for that pump and that water. And there is a grant component to this, and there is a guaranteed loan component to this. Now, I should also note the VAPG program. Now, we are rural development, and of course, there are some rural area requirements. The VAPG program, the Value-Added Producer Grant Program, has no rural area requirement. So if you're in a town that is greater than 50,000, or which generally is the key for RBCS, the VAPG program has no rural area requirement. Now, the Rural Energy for America program does have a rural area requirement, but only for small businesses. If they are an agricultural producer, for which we're talking to today, there is no rural area requirement. And one note, there is a program called the Meat Poultry Processing Expansion Program, and I understand the page says it's closed, but they are opening it up again, and that has no rural area requirement either, and it can be used for the purchasing and upgrading of processing and manufacturing equipment. Now, this would actually be if you decided that you're a beginning farmer and rancher, and hey, I don't want to have to go and go to the slaughterhouse, another slaughterhouse. I want to do my own slaughterhouse, but I also want to be able to slaughter other people's meat and poultry. And that is one of the programs that the Meat Poultry Processing Program is. Now, Mr. Canales had talked about, and so did Mr. Powell, had talked about the guaranteed program. There is a program called the 1RD Guaranteed Program, which does encompass Mr. Canales' Community Facilities Guaranteed Loan Program. And it does also encompass the Rural Energy for America Guaranteed Loan Program. And lastly, there's one called the B&I Guaranteed Loan Program embedded in there. It is actually can be utilized by farmers and ranchers if they, again, decide they want to do more than just agricultural production, than growing the agricultural production, which also includes beef and cattle and stuff of that nature, where they want to process that instead of having to rely upon other entities. They want to start their own or expand their business to where they process their their cattle and their agricultural production to get out to the public. So these 4 programs are more in line with beginning farmers and ranchers and farmers in general, and military veterans and military personnel who are about to leave the armed forces and want to get into farming and ranching, with specifically the 1RD guaranteed loan programs. So that's all I have, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate that. BJ, I know we threw a lot at the group, and I think this ends at 1, correct?
Yeah. Let's
Okay. I would love to just do some closing comments and then open it up for questions. And I can share one more slide with all the contact information for everybody, if that's okay.
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, great. So let me throw up our contact here because I know we put a lot into that, and I try to get to it as quickly as we could. But we have over 70 programs. There's no way we could do it in an hour. Probably take a day, full day. But let me just put in our contact information right here. Let's see. Okay, so this is our contact information. Um, Let me see if I can. Anyway, so I think y'all can see that there. You can see all of our contact, email, and the website link. And so you can go, there's a plethora of information there. You can go find some more details if you're interested. And obviously, as you can see throughout the presentation, the Farm Service Agency is kind of closer tied to the actual producer as they do farm loans. They disperse disaster funds to producers, and they also kind of handle the commodity support programs. We're more focused on the economic development side, but we do have those few programs that were mentioned that do kind of touch the producer. So I hope you all found this beneficial. Again, here's our contact. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions or want clarification. With that, I'll stop, open this up for the rest of the time for questions, BJ. It's all yours.
Awesome. Thank you, James. Yeah, really appreciate it. That was some awesome information there. Before we go into questions, Heidi just threw the survey link in the chat for all the participants. Please, it takes 2 to 3 minutes. Fill that out. We greatly appreciate that. We take that info and we use it and we send it to USDA, and through that we get to continue doing stuff like this. So it takes 2 to 3 minutes. Please fill that survey out. And with that, if there, we'll open up the floor to questions for James and his team. Just unmute and ask your questions or throw them in the chat, and we'll look there for questions too.
Hey team, really good rundown. Appreciate all the information. The only question I really have is whether or not I can receive the PowerPoint slides.
Yeah, that's not a problem. We can probably consolidate on our end and get something over to BJ. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
Perfect.
And
Also,
could I just say one more thing too, if you don't mind, BJ? And that's just as John said, I know some of these programs may not be applicable to you all, but if you could help us market them, we would appreciate it. Maybe you know someone or a community or that might need these programs. So that's my shameless plug there on marketing these for us. But thank you.
absolutely. And this is being recorded. We will put this on our YouTube channel. We'll post it to our Facebook. So feel free to share that with any people that you know that could benefit from this as well. Yeah, and if James, if you send me that too, I can y'all can reach out to me and I'll get the slides to anyone who wants them.
Yeah, happy to do that. No problem. I don't know if we did really well or if people got bored, but yeah, happy to stay on for 7 more minutes and answer questions to the best of our ability. And yeah, if there's no questions, I'm fine giving 6 minutes back.
No, this was oh, somebody go ahead.
Hey, my name's Sabrina. I have a question about purchasing some property. If we're looking to start a farm, I guess and would have to build on it. It would just have to be new I guess how would that work if we're not going to use our VA loan or anything like that to get a structure built to live in as well as other structures to, if it's, greenhouse, things like that. Does it just have to be under that 324,000? Is that what it was? Yeah, three.
Yes. Yes, John, you want to maybe hop in on that one?
Sure. Yeah, it's a little more complicated than that because if we're talking about acreage, our regulations are more geared toward home ownership, and the acreage limits in our regulation for home purchase are that it cannot be subdivided, it cannot be income producing. If you're looking to purchase land just for ag production, then we suggest go through your other types of lending, whether it's FSA or ag credit or otherwise. We have in some cases in the past, and I'd have to check with our regulation to see if we can still do this, but we have taken surveyed out an acre in some cases, and we're able to make loans that way, but that's been before the reg changes. So any individual situation like that, give us a call and on one of our local offices, and we'll be happy to assist. Uh, Walk you through that.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, John.
Hey team, yeah, I actually had one other question. So, guess shameless plug here a bit, just me and my wife's situation. So, I'm active duty military. We retired about 4 years, and we bought some land out in Land Passes, and it's currently 10 acres. We're building a house, and we do have aspirations of, running livestock. And my wife's all about sourdough bread right now. And so there were a lot of programs, and I'm just kind of curious, like which one, may benefit some of those aspirations for us to, run livestock essentially.
Yeah, no, good question. And so you're asking about more towards production agriculture related type funding. Is
Yeah,
that
I believe so. There's a contiguous 10-acre land that we're looking at expanding as well. So we'll be up to 20. We're kind of leaning more toward like sheep, given, the amount of land since it's not a ton.
hmm Yeah,
Yes,
so
sir.
so again, I'll go back and my staff can chime in after me, but this is where it's going to be Farm Service Agency comes in. They are closer to the producer and actual production agriculture, and that's just not really what we do. So yeah, that would be something I would say get with Farm Service Agency on, or also having previously worked at the Texas Department of Agriculture. They also have this program that used to be called the Young Farmer Grant. Now it's called a Farmer Grant, and the legislature last session put a lot of money into it, about 100 million, and for grants to producers for a number of things. And so I would say look at the Service Agency and also the Texas Department of Agriculture programs. But that's really kind of not what we do. And if anyone on my team wants to chime in and back me up or correct me on anything, that's good.
Okay, great. Appreciate that. And
Mhm.
Hey,
Yeah.
Ben, we
yeah,
also
go ahead.
have on our YouTube channel, we did FSA came on, TDA came on, and spoke about what they offer for agricultural production. I'd highly recommend, checking out those webinars or reaching out to them.
Okay, okay.
So it looks like there was a question in the chat. So the two agencies that I mentioned were our counterpart at USDA, which is the Farm Service Agency, and the other one I mentioned was the Texas Department of Agriculture, which is I would call the equivalent of USDA for the state of Texas.
Awesome. Hey, and the additional 10 acres that we're looking at, y'all don't have anything that would assist in that capacity, right? As far as funding goes?
And
Right.
to do now, tell me again, Are you talking about housing for the 10 acres?
No, so we own, we went through the veteran land board and got the initial 10
So
acres,
GLO?
and
Okay. Yeah.
yes, sir. And so we're currently building a house on that. And now the bordering acreage became available. And so we're trying to, kind of search through funding options for that raw
Oh,
land.
to purchase that neighboring acreage.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we don't really deal in that, right, John Powell? That's not something that we would be the best entity for, correct, John?
That's correct. Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Appreciate it.
So sorry, yeah, sorry to not have more help on that. I mean, there's so many, acronym agencies that can be helpful, and I'm sorry, I'm just more in tune with RD, and that's just no, that we're not going to be the ones to help you there. I'm sorry, but yeah, get with FSA and Texas Department of Agriculture and those, and I would say that would be your best bet.
So if individuals are looking, yeah, and you're in a rural area and you're looking and need like electricity or water, uh, would that be something that you guys cover?
Yes, we do, and I would probably defer to Michael Canales on it. But yes, we do electric, broadband, telecom, water. But Michael, correct me if I'm wrong, these are typically for local units of government. They are for nonprofits. And help me out, Michael Canales, on this one, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir. Those types of services are not on the individual basis. Like if somebody needs a hookup to a utility line that's down the road, these are for the establishment of these systems and the expansions of the utility systems by the provider.
Hmm.
Electrical, the broadband, the telecom, those kinds of things are for the funding is for the actual provider.
Okay. All right. And it is 1 o'clock. So I just want to, if you haven't filled out that survey yet, please go ahead and do that. Otherwise, we'll let James and his team go here. I don't want to take up any more of their time. James, really appreciate you coming out and sharing what you guys do and the resources that you offer. Greatly appreciate it.
Yep, thank you for having us. We've enjoyed it. And like I said, don't hesitate to reach out. We're a phone call, email away.
Awesome. Thank you. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you.